Hi, I'm Laura Darcy from LauraDarcyArt.com, and today is the start of our second video on how to paint whimsical birds with acrylic paint. And today we're going to be featuring this particular bird. We're going to use some different techniques than the last video that we did. We're going to lay down a background of dark acrylic ink. And then once that dries, we're going to layer stamps on top of it so that we create a brighter foreground. And then we'll put in our bird, use a lot of brush strokes to emphasize various areas of not only the environment, but of the feathers on the bird. And lastly, what I think you're really going to enjoy as part of this video is seeing that what you think is a mistake and is perhaps something that has ruined the painting, you'll see me recover from that. We go through a couple of different iterations of this bird that I'm not happy with, and I just keep going back to it kind of persistently until I get to a place that I'm pretty happy with. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment or question. We'll be sure to get back to you. And thanks for joining us. Bye. So here we have a stamp. It happens to be it's kind of a floral stamp in that it has leaves and, it's not realistic at all. But you can see that I'm coating the stamp with the paint, and some of it has a lot of paint on it and a lot of color, and some of it is just the white. And you'll see how it varies the colors that are then impressed upon the panel. And I am very much trying to lighten this panel up. I don't want it to be as dark as we started with, so I'll just continue to use that stamp until I'm pretty happy with the amount of light that I've added and the texture. I'll be drying this panel with a hairdryer so that I can add more texture with stamping again. You can see we're pretty well obliterating that dark background. So it'll add some nice depth while it exists there, and we've brightened it up a lot, so it's much more pleasing. Now it's time to create a focal point. Everything kind of works around that focal point at a certain moment in these paintings. So what I've done is taken a cutout on cardstock of a little bird that I've made, and tracing around it, and I've added a perch for the bird. So now I can work towards enhancing the picture, keeping in mind what's happening with the bird. Everything I do from this point forward will react to the presence of the bird. I'm adding color to the bird here. It appears to be more white than it is. It's kind of that whitened down lime green, olive green, I'm sorry. And you'll see that in a little better lighting in a few moments here. But the undertone will definitely be there, that olive green and white undertone will be in the bird, and I'm pleased with that. So we're just continuing to paint in the bird here and give us our focal point to react to. Okay, so we added eyes and a little beak to the bird, and I'm using the very dark purple to highlight those eyes, add a little purple around the body just so that there'll be some depth in the feathers, and you'll see that as we progress. I like to give the birds a little crown, and I like to emphasize the approach from the top of the eyes into that crown, so I use the dark purple to do that. I put a little bit in the tail, and then I even put some along the side of the body because I'll be using white to create the impression of the wing on the bird, on that side of the bird. We're adding white, and at this moment it's titanium white, which is fairly transparent. I'm sorry, I meant to say it's opaque, so that it is pretty effective at covering the purple and at adding some fluffiness to the feathers. You can see that the bird has taken on a little more volume. And so we'll continue to add some color here. I'm adding purple for some depth in the wing. And we'll continue just doing those kinds of enhancements to the bird from this point forward. So I'll just let you sit and watch that for a while. So here you'll see that nice dark purple, but it is only to add depth. It'll be there underneath the white, but it's really not going to stay. When you first lay it down, it looks like, oh, so obvious, but you'll cover it up, it'll be there, it's going to be reflected in the colors, but it's the main point here is you're going to have more of an opaque color over the top that will be the dominant thing that you see. It'll just, that dark purple adds depth. So you're going to see me futz around with this bird here for a while, and we're at a point where it has something to do with personal preference, and I spend a lot of time on the bird, and you'll see by the end of this video he has a couple of different forms throughout, and with a variety of different amounts of purple and white on his body and his head, and the structure of all of that. So take it to note that when you create something like this of your own, you'll be adding that to your satisfaction. And my futzing here is because I don't get happy for a while. obviously something in my head I'm looking for with this bird, and I'm not getting it for a while, so I'm going to futz around with it for a while. And feel free to even increase the speed that I'm going through this here, because you'll see it goes for a while. You'll see using a dark purple is it's tough when you use a dark color on top of a light color. It has impact, so you'll. I am playing around with this bird a lot, and that's always a signal that I'm not happy. As I've mentioned before, if it's too much, fast forward through this even faster than I've done it. Just wanted you to experience the amount of work that can go into a bird until you're happy, and you shouldn't be afraid of doing that. So bear with me. I'm going to speed this up, and you can increase the speed if you'd like. During this segment, you're going to see a lot of futzing here. I am somehow not happy with where this bird is at. And I almost forget during this process, one of the golden rules is typically when you're unhappy, it's because your values are incorrect, your contrast isn't good, something's going on, and you should step back from it rather than pick up a brush and just keep fiddling. But you're going to see me fiddle a lot here, and the purpose of leaving this in this particular segment is that you can see you can recover from quite a bit. There's not there's not a lot of stopping you now, is what I'm trying to say. Don't feel that things that you do are unforgivable and unrecoverable, because they're not. There's ways to become happy with your painting, and taking the time to work through what you're doing and thinking about is a powerful way of letting that happen. Don't lose your creativity. Don't lose your nerve, and bow down under the pressure of having it right the very first time out of the gate. You'll see there's many ways to make this work. I'm going to speed this video up so you can see the many things that I go through, and you'll appreciate those comments I just made a lot more, because I do fiddle. I go back to the bird, I go back to the eyes, I go back to the beak. I'm fiddling. So here we go. So we've got to a point here where I'm assessing the final product and not completely happy. So here we go again. I'm going to be futzing a little bit with depth, contrast, and warmth of some of these colors. So you'll see I've mixed a warm, going to call it brown, and I even deepen it a little bit at some point to get even more depth created out of that color. And so watch me as I apply it here. You'll see it in varying degrees throughout the painting, and I think it adds a lot. So I'm not through bird fussing, I'm not through warmth fussing, and I continue to monkey with this. Very much my style. I'm not done till I'm done. The bird gets some more work to become more fluffy, if I can put it that way. I add more opaque white to his wing around his head to get a little fuzzy effect there. And yeah, I just keep futzing here a little bit, but you'll see I add yellow for warmth. And you know what? I take all of that away I don't take it away. I add white on top of it because I'm not happy with the yellow. So you'll see that here. Okay, here we go. Pretty much final product. Not completely. We'll see that in a moment, but much more finished. One of the things I like to do is make sure that I give you a final look at the product. This is the painting in its final form. I won't be going back and fiddling with it anymore. So I thought you might enjoy seeing that, since I did futz and fiddle quite a bit. But pull you up a little closer. I also wanted to show you how the texture of a canvas panel, which is what this is different from a smooth clay panel or a piece of wood that's been sealed with gesso. You can see some of the texture from the canvas peeking through, particularly in this lower corner. So just so you know, that panel that we're looking at right now was gessoed before I started using it. So I'm a little surprised at how much the texture is visible, but I use that and enjoy that as part of the painting rather than something to be dismissed. So lesson number 2 from this video is that you will probably benefit by choosing what you're going to do in advance. In other words, what kind of a panel am I going to use? What kind of texture am I looking for from that panel? A smooth clay board or other type of surface is going to give you a much smoother finish. The paint will move differently, as it does here on this canvas. So just a little FYI, we'll go in a little closer here. So you can really see that texture as it starts to emerge. And then of course, as you back away, it diminishes. So hope you enjoyed that. Hope to see you in our next video. As I mentioned in the start, this was video number 2 in our series of painting birds with acrylic, whimsical birds in acrylic paint. Thanks. Bye.